Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started with today's session, which is nailing FX and crypto. So we'll be trading Forex and crypto, and we're going to assess the current market environment. We're going to review any of the closed trades we have, manage any open positions that we have, which as of right now we don't, and then execute on those new opportunities. So let's go ahead and open up. I believe we had, let me just find it here. So we had a couple of setups that we looked at that was on the 10th. So we were looking to buy ADA, which ended up stopping us out. It was a buy limit at 25.29 with a stop of $2.17. Ended up stopping us out. We had a couple of profit targets there, but the whole crypto market as a whole ended up turning pretty badly. We had a Bitcoin buy as well at 67,000 because we were looking at a bit of a shorter term with the 65,850 as a stop. Of course, that one also did not work out too well. And then Quantum, where's the other trade that we were looking at this one hit T1 and then ended up turning, so it was a break even. There was one more trade that I guess we either didn't take or I didn't screenshot. We did have a short running on one of the cryptos, but I guess I must have not taken a screenshot properly. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So, we'll be getting started with some FX trades right now just to analyze them. But before we do all of that, and just to kind of get folks familiar with it in case they're not, we do have, a couple of things here that you might not have on your screen. And that's first off this down here, which is the auto climate. This is an indicator that we use to give us the, a sense of directionality of the instrument that we're looking at, whether we should be looking for shorts or long opportunities, or much, more controversially, sitting on our hands, right? When something's not confirmed, we sit on our hands. And also conversely, if something goes from a confirmed up to unconfirmed, we actually have permission to go ahead and close that trade. So if we were in a long, let's say here, it was going okay for a bit, and then all of a sudden it turned. Well, at this point, you have, confirmation to exit. Okay, I don't know why I did that. We have confirmation, we have permission, whichever way you want to call it, to exit, even if the targets are not reached. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some additional discussion here. Another thing that you may see on my screen that you might not on yours is the fact that, we also have these little, flying saucers with the lines top and the bottom. Those are the auto UFOs. That's the proprietary and patented technology that we utilize to look for potential entries and exits where some additional unfilled orders may be. Okay, so this is primarily looking at unfilled orders. So, right, the chart in itself represents filled orders, right? These are orders that were already filled. It's nothing out of the ordinary to see this and say, okay, this is filled orders. What we have here, though, what we have this representation showing us here is that there are some additional orders that might have not been filled, and therein lies the edge that we're looking for to get in a trade and execute based upon where the location of that UFO is. So if it's giving us permission to go ahead and enter, and the climate is in our favor, then by all means we should. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have in front of us here. I have a couple of different time frames that I typically go with. I'll start with the daily and the 55-minute time frames just to see what's going on. Right now, as we see on the dollar Swiss franc, I thought we were on the That's why something changed. We're on the dollar yen. We're going to start off with the dollar yen. Confirmed down climate, as you see here, is 3 thick red dots. That means we're in the third one, and we're out of typically 6. We always round up because we want to give the auto climate a little bit more room to, work out. And then, of course, we're going to be looking at, where this 9 exponential moving average is on this larger time frame, and try to find if and where this 9 exponential moving average gets enveloped by any one of these UFOs. So for example, as we see right now, it's at 113,865. Well, that's currently within this UFO here, right? Now, that's quite far from current price. Obviously, we're looking at a daily time frame with an hourly here, almost an hourly, right? Um, so if price were to go up, well, with it, the moving average is going to go up. So they're probably going to meet up somewhere up there, right? They're not going to have the same exact angle of movement as they move up, right? But it's going to be something, quite far up there. So let's see if we have a potential UFO up there. So that might be a little too far. So for example, if something like this were to happen, um, where price just ends up rallying from here, just ripping on up, okay? And currently the moving average is here, right, at 113,865. Well, that's going to slowly start going up, up, up too. And I would say if this was kind of the move up, then they could potentially meet up somewhere here. But of course, this is just an assumption because we don't know how price is going to go up there, right? If price takes its time going up there, then this moving average is going to keep coming down, keep coming down. So if price goes, for example, sideways here, right? If price just ends up doing this, right? Moving average is going to come with it, and they're actually going to meet up either in this UFO or this UFO. And then we have an entry. But as of right now, as we see this current movement, this current price movement, we do not have a trade. So what do? We simply move on. So we're going to go down to a 4-hour with a 21-minute and see if we have some potential entry here. And here we go. We are on the first one out of typically 5. Okay. Moving average is at 113,257. All right. And this is looking promising. When I kind of make this a little bit cleaner here, 257 is definitely at the top of this UFO, right? Because this is the UFO here that you see. That's the line there. That's the line there, also represented by the numbers here, right? However, if I say, okay, I'm going to take it right here, sure, you can go right ahead, but I can tell you this much is that if this price were to come back and retest here, the moving average will actually be within this area here. So what I will go ahead and do is I will put an entry on the dollar yen to sell, and I'm going to be going in at 113.307 right there. And I'm actually just to keep it clean, I'm gonna round it down to 30. I'm gonna do take profit and stop loss. So my stop, now where do we place the stop, right? That's something we also need to talk about. Where's our targets? Where are our targets and our stops? For stops, I only use one stop, so I don't try to let something else play out further. The stop goes because we're going short right above the UFO here. So right now we see that this UFO that we're executing on, which is this one right here, ends at 113,426. So we're going to go ahead and put that in 113,426. Now I'm going to round this up at 43, and I'm also going to give it another 5 pips. So it's going to be 48. Okay. So we're looking to risk 18 pips. T1 is going to be also 18 pips, risking 150 bucks. All right. And I'm going to put this, good till, I don't know, let's say next time we meet. I think it might be closer to the end of the month. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the second leg, right? I'm going to go in at 113.3. I'm going to do a take profit, stop loss, same stop loss, but for my final target, I'm actually going to utilize this larger time frame, right? The 4 hour, because I'm executing on the 21 minute, as you see here. But I am looking at the overall picture on the 4 hour. So I'm going to take the 4 hour and I'm going to say, okay, this is my final target down here. The first opposing unfilled order area, the first opposing UFO, which is right here, right? We're going in on a red UFO. First opposing is going to be a green one or an olive one. Right now, the first opposing one is 112.330. So that's going to be our final target is 112.33. So, and that's a 5-to-1 plus the 1-to-1 that we had on the first leg, right? And same thing, good till, no, not till 12-2, 12:29. I think even the other one is set to 12-2. Okay, we're gonna have to look at that. I want to make sure that both get kept for at least a month. All right, so there it is, 113.30. Risking 150 bucks on the second leg too, so for a total risk of 300 bucks. 113.48 remains to be the stop. The take profit, however, on this second leg is 112.33, which is that first opposing UFO. We're going to go ahead and put that in. All right. And now before I forget, I definitely want to look at that first position to make sure it's, see, it does expire tomorrow. So I'm just going to have to place it again. It's not going to let me change here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cancel it and put in another one. All right. Because I definitely don't want to, I don't want one leg to expire, especially the one-to-one leg. And then, we're caught in a situation where only one leg got filled, the other one didn't, and so on. All right. So that's looking good, right? 113.30, 113, 120, 113, 480, 18 pips on each end. Looking good. Expiration 12/29. All right. Before I forget, I definitely want to take a screenshot of this. 1 second here. All right, there it is. Let's go ahead and take that screenshot. So today's date, 2021, 12:01. And this is the USD JPY 4-hour setup. Boom. Done. The entire procedure, step by step. And what do you do now? Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. So let's go ahead and do that exactly. Now, if you guys, want me to go over anything again, please feel free to type it in the chat, in the Q&A box, whatever feels better, more comfortable. If you joined a little bit late, then you probably missed the entire analysis, which is okay. As you see, as I go through each and every one of these, you'll be able to kind of catch on and see what's going on. Before I move any further, I'm just going to share my link in here. And that's right there. And I'm also going to share with you in the chat in case you're interested in getting these, the instruments that I'm using. You can actually sign up and get those, on TradingView, MetaTrader, TradeStation, our own platform, whatever's easier for you. And then if you have any questions and stuff like that, you can also do it here. You can also type it in the chat here and we can get some answers. It's, as you see, a lot of people that are asking questions. They're all answered, 2 answers, some of them, 1 answer, some of them. So definitely check it out. And if anything, just sign up for a free membership. So that way you can kind of stay in touch with us here at the Trade with UFOs channel. All right. I didn't see any requests. Come on. You guys are shy or you don't want to look at anything? Right? We looked at dollar yen. Let's, I don't know, let's look at the Swiss franc, see if it's got something for us. All right, let's go back to daily and 55. So we're doing crypto and FX today. So whatever you want to look at, I'm open to look at. There's plenty on both sides, and we got plenty of time too to look at things. All right. Daily looking good. Second confirmed out of typically 5 on the dollar franc. Moving average at 92,426. That's about here, 426. All right, so I'm not going to put a trade on this, but man, wouldn't it have been beautiful to take this trade here. Holy cow. So yesterday, 1025. Look at that. I mean, that's never money down. That's the stuff, right? Look at that right there. Touch and go. Touch and make money. I'm going to put an alert on this. I'm not going to put the trade on. Um, just because I don't know if it's, I'm going to put it around here at 550. Okay. I just wanted to alert me. I don't want to put the trade in right now because you don't know when it's going to happen, when it's not going to happen. All right, so I'm just going to leave that there so I know that, hey, there's something that you should look at. I mean, this is the stuff that I wish you could catch, right? But there's just not enough time in the day. All right, let's go down to a 4-hour, 21-minute. Okay, 91,991, 92,098. This is also pretty close. So 91,989. So let's call it 92 even. If it's gonna go up, yeah, this is probably a good area here. It's kind of an obvious one too. It's been tested a few times and still dropping from there. It's not a bad idea. Anything behind us there? Yep, we had a rally before there. So yeah, it's a good area. Let's go ahead and set this up too. Let's go ahead and sell the 0.92098. So we're gonna round this down to 09. All right, a stop loss is going to be at 92,181.18. But of course, we're gonna add 5 pips extra to have space to wiggle about. 150 bucks stop loss. All right, and we're gonna do the same thing, good till the end of the month. Sell that. All right, same thing here. 92,090 we said. And our final target will be down here at 91,509. I'll round that up to 51. All right, good till date. Sell that too. Okay. Last step before we forget, we're going to go ahead and take a screenshot. All right. So this is again, 2021, 1201. We're looking at USD CHF 4-hour setup. All right. Everybody with me so far? Any questions, any comments, any suggestions, requests? All right. Moving on. Gonna look at one more pair. Well, let's look at the major here, right? Okay, so the euro dollar is moving up. How is, um, let me just see how the dollar's doing real quick. Right. Oh, I'm like, what the heck? Euro yen, no problem. We'll take a look at that too. All right. Yeah, the dollar's continuing down. Okay, so this is going to go up, of course. Okay. All right. I just kind of want to have it as a reference there just to see what's going on with it, even though my data's good there. Okay, so let's take a look at the euro yen, which is in the miners. Used to have the euro yen on the radar when it was moving nicely. Lately, it's been a little less active. Okay, let's take a look at the daily at the 55. All right. Oof. All right. So on the daily, what's the first thing we see here, right? The auto climate. Um, as you see, it dropped off from that 133 area up there. Tested it again. Gave you a potential entry there, only for it to continue on dropping down. Created this massive UFO on the daily because each day was just so choppy here, you know, always closing lower. But you know, this kind of a UFO is just kind of, you know, just a little scary looking. um, that means that in this entire area, there was definitely still orders left pending, and you could just kind of tell by some of these wicks um, that never got filled. But right now, and actually, interestingly enough, it looks like this trade might have already played out to the short side. Now, you know, obviously on the daily, we're looking at 19 days. If I blow this up a little bit, we're looking at 19 days that it's been going down for out of typically 6. All right, so we're more than triple the amount of days that this is going down for. Now, you know, this analysis aside, right? I mean, you can kind of tell that there's a line in the sand in this area here, even though it got tested pretty, I always forget that I put these on the bottom here. So you can kind of tell that there's a line in the sand that got tested multiple times here. All right. If we were just to look at the lows, these previous lows, it obviously broke out of them. But usually and typically what you'll see is there will be always something underneath there. And even though there might not be a UFO here, there is quite a big rally that happened here in February of this year. So I'm going to just duplicate this area here, and I'm just going to, you know, paint the yellow. All right. So there's definitely something here that's basically holding up price right now, because look at these wicks. Now, what's a little bit more dangerous about these wicks is that they're wicks on both sides. And to make it more fun, the reason why I say this, we might have already missed it or this played out, is as you see this wick almost touched this moving average right here, right? So that wick touching that moving average there, that means there might have been a UFO somewhere here around this 128, you know, 800 to 750 area, and that would have been the entry for a short to continue riding this down, if that's the way we're looking at it. However, so now I'm going to analyze what I would do. I wouldn't touch it here on the daily. I would go down to the 4-hour, 21-minute, recently reconfirmed, okay, recently reconfirmed climate based off of this exact candle. Looking at 128.317, which is right within this UFO. So this is actually a short entry right here at 128.399. I'm actually going to put that on, and that will be the third Forex trade, and then we'll switch to crypto. 128, 399. What the hell? 399. Okay. I'm just going to round this down to 39. All right. A stop would be at 128.59. So 50, 590 is the top of it. We're going to add 5 more. We're going to round it up and add 5 more. Actually, I'm sorry, for the euro yen, we don't do that. 590. So we're just going to do 595. All right. Don't need to add extra risk when we don't need to. 150. Good till the 29th, we said. All right, so going in short at 128.39. Stop above 59. How many? It's a 9 EMA, Zhenxing. It's a 9 EMA, this one here. Sorry, I just saw your question. I'm not sure when you asked it, but it's a 9 EMA. And, you know, there isn't a platform out there that doesn't have this. All right, not a problem. Let's go ahead and put that order in. Same thing again, 128.39. Take profit, stop loss, stop remains the same. Our final target is 127.236. I'm just gonna round this up to 24. And the same thing, good till 12.29. Sell that. All right, there it is. I'm like order sent, but I don't see it. Okay. So that's my analysis. That's how I would go about this. Again, I know I'm not looking at the daily for this to swing it. I'm just looking to make some, you know, quick few bucks. You know, in all reality, there's definitely still, I would say, some orders left here because if you could look at the green zone as the, right, the line in the sand, the yellow zone is going to be the trap below. Okay, so it looks like it's already been triggered. So we're going to see right now, as of right now, looking at this 4-hour chart, it's looking like it wants to keep going higher. However, my analysis and my plan says I got to go short. So my opinion is taking a back seat to my plan because until I can backtest and realize that my plan is wrong, I'm going to keep executing according to my plan because that's what made me money in the past. All right, not my opinions. My opinions have only gotten me in trouble. All right, oh, let's take a screenshot of this before we forget. Save that. So 2021, 1201. We got EURJPY 4-hour setup. All right. Okay. Anybody else with requests, or should we switch to crypto a little bit and see how we're looking on the crypto end? Oh, I know why. I'm like, why is it always putting 80? Because it's all right. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin ripping on up. All right. 4-hour, oops, the daily with the 55-minute. All right. Nice little rip to the upside here, 58,366. Now, as a full disclaimer, I got a couple of positions long on Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA. Well, that's it for now, actually. Sure. So for multiple time frame analysis, right? You know, it's like trying to see something through a keyhole, right? Well, if you're trying to see a big picture through a keyhole, then you're not going to see much. um, we need to, you know, at least with our analysis that we use here on the auto UFOs, and I'll quickly show you um, a quick little breakdown chart. 1 second. Just pull it up here. The reason why we use daily, 4-hour, and hourly, right? Because I would say just about everybody in the world is going to look at those charts. And you want to see what the rest of the world is seeing when it comes to the big picture stuff. All right, because ultimately, you know, you can look at the 300 and I'm sorry, at the yeah, 300 and what's it called? What was it? It's basically not the 300 but the what the hell is going on here? Sorry. Oh, that's strange. Sorry, something on my end here and my computer is just acting up. So for example, the 4 hour, you could look at the, 200-minute chart versus the 240, right? The 4 hour. Um, or if you're looking at the 6 hour, right? The 360. Um, or you can look at, instead of the 360, you look at the 300-minute chart, right? You're going to get a different picture from what everybody else is seeing, which, it's okay to an extent, right? For the bigger picture stuff, you want to see what everybody else is seeing, you know, um, because what everybody else is seeing is most likely going to end up on everybody else's screen, right? So if, for example, if you load something that's like a really weird number, there's a very good chance that nobody else is seeing that. So when everybody else sees this type of movement happening on their daily, on their 4 hour chart, they're all kind of understanding, okay, this is moving in this direction, or this is moving in that direction, right? To make it easier for you if something is moving sideways, that's why you also utilize the auto climate, because you want to see what everybody's seeing, but you also want to have some sort of a statistical calculation of what's actually happening. So right now we have a confirmed down climate on Bitcoin as of today, even though it's moving on up right now. So the reason why we use these common timeframes is to see the market as everybody else sees. Now, why do we use 55-minute, 21-minute, and 8-minute timeframes for our execution timeframes? Right? Because that's what it is here. These are execution timeframes. And as of right now, we're only utilizing these two. We're not using anything else. We're using these two because number one, these are fib numbers. That's the first thing. The second thing is we've actually back tested some of these time frames to give us a bit of an edge when we're using our auto UFOs. Because what it is these auto UFOs, they also have a calibration setting, meaning you can calibrate them to give you more sensitive information or a little bit less, more filtered information, right? So the default would be 0.5. Okay. Did I? Okay. Yeah. So the default would be 0.5. And as you see, there's a UFO there, which I don't believe was. So now if I change it to, again, to 0.618, that UFO disappears. Meaning there are still some orders here. It's not that the UFO is lying. It's just I want it to be a little more sensitive, meaning I want it to give me where there might be more of them rather than just giving me opportunities. And also because 618 is a fib number. Okay, so there's a lot of fib going into the statistical background of this. Now let me just show you what I meant by different time frames that we've back tested. So these are those time frames. You're free to take a screenshot of this if you want to. All right. As of right now, we went away from using these reactive time frames because it was just giving too much noise. So we don't really use these anymore. But these are the ones that give us that edge, right? So if the common time frame is a 60-minute, we use the 8-minute edge, or if you want to use the 8-minute range. The 240-minute, which is the 4 hour, is the 21-minute or the 21 range. And then, of course, if you're using, like I'm using the daily, you use the 55-minute or the 55 range. So that's the setup for these multiple timeframes. And of course, this is something that I've been using for a while. You're more than welcome to also backtest this and see how it works out for you. So in the meantime, let me just double check my settings good here. Settings all good here. Okay. So that's kind of, the analysis behind that. If you want to, what you could also do is you could have, where is it? This way. So you could have this be the daily. This is what I used to do, but now I strayed away from it mainly because it's too much information. what I would use to do is put this on the 55 range here. So that way you have all, for example, you're utilizing this and you're utilizing the range to give you some potential entries. Of course, this has to be always readjusted just because the ranges are sometimes a little on the low end. But, it's just, especially for Bitcoin, I would say it's really, really, really easy to get lost in this stuff. Okay. So that's why I just, went away from that and just went to the two charts and then call it a day. Let me just reset this so it's nice and clean and we'll go from there. All right. So especially with crypto, I would say the ranges just don't seem to be as clean as if you were to use them with Forex. All right. Let's take a look here. So now we have a couple of things we got going for us. So right now, even though Bitcoin is a confirmed down climate, it is currently trading above the moving average, right? So that immediately clicks to my mind and says, okay, this is trading above the moving average. There's really nothing I need to look at here anymore. Because if I'm looking for a short opportunity and price is currently above the moving average that I'm looking to get in on, then of course I'm not going to be looking any further, right? Because price needs to coincide the moving average with a UFO, and it's right now trading above it, so there's nothing there. So moving on to a 4-hour, 21 minute. All right, same thing on the 4-hour, same thing on the 21 minute here. Let's take a look at the 8-minute with the hourly. All right, the hourly is actually confirmed up. We're already moving away pretty nicely though. See, if we caught it a little bit early, like this past hour, we could have actually gotten in on this move, most likely on this big pullback down. Actually no, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. This one got confirmed at 8 a.m. So it would have been around here somewhere. So we're looking at this area here where we could have potentially gotten filled. All right. As of right now, though, as things stand right now, Bitcoin made a new high there. So let's say it comes down and retests 57,460, 57,460. So this UFO that I actually highlighted would work. So this area right here, 57,490 to 57,174. So we can actually put that trade in. This is on the third hourly up climate out of typically 6. So we should have some time. So let's say we were to buy this, 57,490 is where this UFO starts according to this number here. 57,174 is where it ends. All right, take profit, stop loss. So 57,174. So I would actually give this about 50 bucks more to work out a little bit better. So we're looking at 57,124. All right, risking 150 bucks per trade. And yeah, that should be fine. This will definitely, I would say, fill before then if it retests below. If it leaves without us, well, it is what it is. What are you going to do? All right. That's our T1. Now for our final target on this hourly, we're looking at this 60,719. So we're going to buy again 57,490, take profit, stop loss, and 67,119 is going to be that. That's close to 9-1 on that leg and a 1-1 on the other one. All right, risking 150 bucks and 57,490. We're good with that. Good with this. Good with that all. All right. Time in force for a month. And that's that. I take another screenshot of it. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but the beautiful thing about this analysis and the beautiful thing about this approach, is that it's so cut and dry, so like, not statistical, but rather just you know, it's really easy to look at and realize like, hey, this is what we're doing. And that's that. What I see on my screen, you're gonna see on your screen. What I execute on my end, you can execute on your end. There's no like hidden, anything behind the curtains type of situation. Um, there are a little bit more, fine-tuning things that you could do when it comes to managing the trades, trail stopping them, and so on. I wish any one of these executed, but more often than not, all of these just end up, being put in, but they don't actually get triggered in the session. Last time they actually triggered right at the tail end of the session. Um, but it's fairly, easy to see how this setup works. And it's just a matter of rinse and repeat. All right. I think that's that for this one. I just want to see how the rest of it. As I said, I am long on a couple of these. Um, very glad personally that ADA is breaking above $1.60. If you don't know much about these, right, ADA is Cardano. Um, Axis is AXS, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. These are kind of like the bigger ones out there. The fun one that people look at, SHIB. I haven't traded at all. My wife has traded this, made some money too. Um, you know, I just try to stay away from joke coins like that. And then it's not atypical to see something like this in crypto. 55% for the day. All right. Um, this has started since last night, and it was at, a dollar something, and then has blasted off to three, right? Not something unusual to see in crypto, but also not unusual to see negative double digits, like we had a couple of days past on Bitcoin, right? So a couple of days past, we had quite the drop, and that's not unusual. As you see here, we had a negative 8.87% drop on this day, on the 26th, right before, I think it was right before Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving. Yeah, Black Friday, when the whole market as a whole dropped. I want to say like close to 2.5% on a short trading day. Bitcoin also followed suit and dropped 8.87%. Okay. Um, Folks, any questions, any comments, anything you may be interested in for me to look at? Um, I've been kind of talking nonstop, not really giving you a chance to kind of uh, catch your breath. All right, Shib. Where is Shib? Oh, you're talking about, well, yeah, we just looked at SHIB. Sorry, I'm like, because I forget that over here it's 1000x SHIB, so that way there's not so many 0000s behind it. Yeah, so SHIB, as you see on the daily, finally we got a confirmation of an up climate. So if you were one of the hodlers, right? You might be finally looking to catch some break, even though yesterday, it pulled up all the way up, right? Almost 5%, but actually almost, I think it was 7%, and it closed at 5, so it dropped down. Um, yep, exactly. That was my next thing, is that they finally got listed on Kraken, so that was a nice pump from their end. But it's like, I don't know, how do I put this gently? If you're one of the people that thinks SHIB is going to go to $1, please, you know, come back to reality. For SHIB to come to $1, it would have to, I forget what it was, it would have to exceed the trading volume and value of several of these actual tokens that make sense in the world and that actually, do and stand for something, right? This is, as we all know, it's a joke coin, but you know what it is? SHIB and Doge were both joke coins, but people have made, ungodly amounts of money on them. So, ultimately the joke's on other people who think that they can't make money with it. Now, will traditional analysis, technical analysis work um, on Doge and on SHIB, right? You would have to backtest it, but the problem is you have limited amounts of data to backtest. That's what I don't like about it, right? Look at this. I mean, we're talking beginning of May that it got listed as a futures here. When you could actually buy it on other exchanges and everything, I can't say. I haven't looked into it that much, but I do know that when it got listed on Coinbase, which I want to say it was around here somewhere, right? Michael, you seem to be following it pretty closely, right? Look, I mean, look at that move, right? So as I said, jokes on the people who think that you can't make money on this, but also jokes on you if you think that this is going to become something real and like some other people are saying, on YouTube and TikTok, like this is going to be the new currency of the world. Like, come on, you know, if Bitcoin is only adopted as official currency by one or two countries in the world, you think a joke coin will be? Like, let's be serious here. Um, but as I said, jokes on you if if you think you can't make money with this, because you certainly can. It's just it's very much, all of these very much follow Bitcoin, right? So if Bitcoin sneezes and loses 3%, some of these could be in the double digit negatives. So there's extremely high volatility and risk when it comes to these. But more often than not, especially if something really makes sense and they got some really good backers, things are almost, I would say, not guaranteed, but things are typically more biased to the upside. But when there's a rug pull and then things go down, as I said, when Bitcoin and Ethereum sneeze and lose like 2, 3, 5%, some of these will lose, 5, 10, 15, 20, 40%. If you're on the short side, you're, extremely happy. But if you're just sitting and taking it in, it's not a fun thing to do. All right, so looking at SHIB, recently reconfirmed moving average at 0.044, which incidentally is this one here, which looks like it did get hit on, not today, actually a few hours ago. All right, so the entry would have been right there, right? 0.44286. That coincides with this being 043, which would be right here in the middle. So this would have been the actual entry on this trade at 4 o'clock in the morning. As much as I'm, an enthusiast in trading, 4 o'clock in the morning is when I wake up. I'm not in front of the computer at 4 o'clock. So that's that on this one, on the daily and the I'm sorry, wait a minute, that's wrong. I do apologize. I just realized that was on the 8-minute, so that's incorrect. No trade. So no, you would not have traded that. If it touched here on the 29th, when it finally was still confirmed, it got confirmed up climate on the 30th, so yesterday. So on the 30th, what was this doing? It was dropping like a tank from that high. So it did get confirmed 43. So if we were to just go back on this, let's say we're just looking at this right now, right? So let's say 49. So that's what it was on the 30th at 4 o'clock in the morning. This was there. So there. So if this was the next one, right? That's a high, that's a high, that's a UFO. 047 moving average here was at 041, so no trade there. No, I don't think you would have gotten filled on this. It probably came close on that drop, but no fill, I think. Let's see. 046, 45, 44, 41, no. So nothing there. So you wouldn't have gotten filled utilizing this strategy here. If we were to go down to the 4-hour and 21-minute, it's unconfirmed for the past 2 days. You wouldn't be doing anything. Hourly and 8-minute, confirmed down. All right, so talk about conflicting information, right? Typically, I would like to put my odds in the favor of, I would like to go in the direction of the daily. If I can't, that's fine. I'm okay with that on futures. I'm okay with that on Forex. I am not okay with that on crypto. So if this is showing red, the daily is showing blue, I stay away. So I would not be taking anything. Obviously, the daily has just reconfirmed itself to the upside, and we're going to see what happens next. But this drop here at the 05, or in other platforms, this will be 00005. This is kind of the first bump in the road right here. It would have to go through this stuff to keep going higher. And of course, in crypto, there's such a thing as, at least it's always what people say, but there is a cycle where it goes from Bitcoin to Ethereum to altcoins, and then it just reverses. So as of right now, as you see, Bitcoin and Ethereum both up over 2%, yet SHIB is down negative 2%, right? So that just means money is flowing into the majors and not into the joke coins, right? So then there will be a time where these will be either stagnant or a little bit up or a little bit down, and these could be up nearly, 10, 15%. So that's just how things cycle here. Okay. That's kind of that. Anybody else have any questions, comments, things they want to get off their chest? We got a few more minutes in the session, and I'm just going to share my email. If you have any questions and any comments, it's right there. It's boyan@tradictive.com. And of course, I somehow managed to misspell that. And then the other link that as I said earlier, that's the other link right there in the chat to be able to take a look at that. All right, folks. No further questions, no further comments. Give you a few more minutes. I was wanting to see what Maddox doing. Yeah. Maddox ripping on up. I got missed on an entry for this and basically missed out this entire move. But that's okay. OMG. Very stagnant as well. Okay. And then Ren is finally reviving. Okay, folks. Thank you very much for joining me again, and I will catch you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.